Hi guys, Dan the Grammar Man here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a technique that you can use to improve your listening skills. Now, I've been a student of languages and a teacher of languages for too many years now, and I can tell you, it's a very common problem that people ask me about all the time. It's, teacher, how do I improve my listening skills? I study a lot, I know what to say to people, but as soon as I start talking, all this English comes rushing right back at me and I get overwhelmed. So, what we're going to do today is look at how to get you up to speed so you can understand what you hear out there in the real world. Now, the main problem is that up to now, most of your exposure to English has probably been either through the written word or through tapes made especially for students. The problem is that the written word and the spoken word, especially in English, can be quite far apart. For example, what you gonna do tonight? What you gonna do tonight? That's what are you going to do tonight? What we love to do in English is stress our nouns and our verbs and all the little words, all the prepositions, all the articles, all those little but very important words get squished together and not fully pronounced. So, as a learner, what you need to do is get used to how people actually speak. Now, I'm going to show you a great technique for doing that right now. The first thing we're going to do is turn to my best friend and yours when it comes to learning a language, YouTube. Now, YouTube is great because it has a wide range of material. You can get everything from very formal language to very informal language. Also, you'll get a lot of media that's made for native speakers, right? It's not specially made to be easier for students to understand. So you know, if you can start to understand native speaker media, you're doing really good. So first, we get YouTube. Second, we're going to use a program to pull those videos off of YouTube. Then, we're going to convert the MP4s that you'll get from YouTube into audio files. Finally, we're going to use an annotation program to take that spoken word, to take those audio files, and start to write out what you hear. And the best part about all of this is it's absolutely 100% free. Let's get down to business. Open your web browser and go to YouTube. Select a video. Here's a video from a Canadian talk show segment called The Best Story Ever. Once you've chosen the video, you need to copy the URL for the downloader. I'm using the MacX YouTube downloader. It's free and simple to use. Now, at the end of the video, I'll talk about where to find downloading programs for both Mac and PC. Now, click on this icon here to add the URL and then paste it. On the right-hand side, you have a preview window in case you want to double-check the video before you actually download it, and a place to choose your target folder. I'm going to put this on my desktop. Just it's easy to find, but you can put it anywhere. After choosing your target folder, click down here on the Download Now button. Now, it might take a few minutes to download. The program we'll be using, Pratt, only works with WAV files. So, before we can annotate this, we'll need to convert the file. I'm using a paid program called Switch But there are many services online that will do this for free. Again, at the end of the video, I'll show you where to find some. Open your file converter, click Open File, choose a destination folder down here, and tell it to output a WAV file. When you finish that, click Go. Now that we have our WAV file, we are ready to annotate. Open Pratt, choose Open, Read from File, then over here on the left, click Annotate. Select To Text Grid. If you like, you can rename the tiers. Here we have Mary, John, and Bell. Those are the default names of the tiers. If you are making custom tiers, remember that to create a second tier, you must include a space between the names. When I'm using this, I usually just use the default names. Now click OK. Now you'll see if you look on the left-hand side, there's a new object in the window here. You'll need to select both objects. To do that, hold down the Shift key and click on the audio file. They should both be highlighted in blue. Come over to the right and choose View and Edit. Here we have the waveform. There are two because we've chosen a stereo file. If you have a mono recording, there will be only one waveform. In the middle section here, it shows an analysis of the speech. Now this is used for technical phonetic analysis by linguists. We don't need to concern ourselves with this. The only interesting part really is this blue line. It shows the intonation contour of the person's speech. At the bottom, you'll find the 3 tiers. This is where we'll be doing our annotations. To isolate a section of the recording, you need to click either on the waveform or on the analysis. You'll see it makes this red dashed line here. Then go down to the tiers and click on the circle in the tier in which you want to do your annotations. Then select another and add another boundary either before or after the first one. Now, if you want to change the area that you've selected, simply click on the boundary and drag it to where you want it to be. To remove a boundary, all you need to do is come up to the boundary option here, then go down and click Remove Boundary. You'll see here it also has a shortcut to do it. It's good to learn these shortcuts. They can save you a lot of time. To play the selection, click inside the 2 boundaries on the tier level and use the Tab button to start and stop the recording. Now, once you've selected the area which you want to annotate, all you have to do is start typing. Also, if you want to make changes, you can either delete up to the point where you want to write, or if you have a lot and you don't want to be deleting it all every time you need to make a change in the annotation, go up to the text window at the top of the viewer and click at any point along the annotation to begin making changes. It's as simple as that. Now, I'd like to bring your attention down to the bottom left-hand corner of the window. Here you'll find 5 buttons which can be used to toggle the view. first, if you click on the All button, it expands to show you the entire clip. The In button zooms in, Out zooms out, Cell zooms into the selected area. For this button to work, you will have to choose an area between two boundaries. I think this button and the All button are the two most useful. And here we have Back. This undoes the last change to view that you have made. Now, let's watch the program in action. I'll make a few annotations here.
So I'm like 7 years old. And I'm in these gymnastics classes. So
One last thing.
7 years old.
When you want to
and I'm in
save
these
your work,
gymnastics classes.
you can either hit Function S or come up here to the File option and select Save Text Grid as text file. This is very important. If you choose any other option, you will lose your work. Remember, save text grid to text file. So, that's Annotating with Pratt. Best of luck.